Good morning, Minneapolis. Good morning. It is Wednesday, December 23rd. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a great show for you today. Let's jump right into it. In obvious news, according to Google, North Dakota State University is 86.3% white. However, if you fall into that category, you can 100% get away with anything. Yes, a few days ago, Onsite Public Media released a 60-second video covering North Dakota State University and a group of white students that mocked the murder of George Floyd. You can see a white student dressed up as a State Patrol trooper kneeling on the neck of another white student who's murmuring, "I can't breathe," and it's topped off by a white girl giggling. And if you're with the State Patrol and you're like, "But hey, we didn't murder George Floyd, the Minneapolis Police Department did," then you should know that even racist white kids think you're all the same too. Dean Brashani, the president of North Dakota State University, showed up at the end of a Black Lives Matter NDSU student march on December 4th with a very emphatic response saying this.
Thank you for letting me have the opportunity to listen and to hear you.
Well, nothing says I'm white and I don't have a problem with white supremacy like a 10-word response from an old white man. Or nothing says I'm white and I'm getting paid by racists like a 10-word response from an old white man. And if you're waiting for Dean Brashani, the president of North Dakota State University, to say more than 10 words, maybe 20, maybe 30, wait no more, because the white NDSU students that mocked the murder of George Floyd at NDSU have not been held publicly accountable. We're going to hold on this story and keep you updated if Dean has anything to say more than 10 words. And if you have a kid that's thinking about going to NDSU and their last name isn't Kroll, you might want to rethink it. Think about sending them to a less racist university like South Dakota, or maybe U of M. Well, speaking of lack of accountability, distrust, and wasting tens of thousands of dollars, Copaganda just showed up in the Cop Tribune with a cop by the name of Medaria Arredondo writing a cop piece. Chief of Minneapolis Police Department, Medaria Arredondo, writes, "The transformation of the Minneapolis Police Department will move at the speed of trust. Trust is critical for the success of any police department. Without trust, the community will not respect or cooperate with us." Trust, it's an interesting use of words. You could have said at the speed of justice, at the speed of abolition, at the speed of defunding. I mean, just lots of words for you to use other than trust, which is pretty much gone right now. Medaria continues, "Abusive policing will not be tolerated. Policing that engenders trust and justice will be celebrated. We will hold ourselves accountable." Great. Start with firing Kyle Mader. Go ahead. He has 7 complaints, 3 that are still open. He slammed a black man into the ground and dislocated his shoulder for no reason. Go ahead and fire a bad cop. If you want to create trust, cooperation, and instill some type of accountability, or what's maybe left of it, if there's anything for anybody at all, fire Kyle Mader. Just go ahead and do it. Or you can reinstate Art Knight, the black cop, back to his rightful position before he was demoted after remarking upon the hiring practices of the MPD to just bring in the same old boys, to quote Art Knight when he was referring to white people and then was demoted. Reinstate Art Knight back to his rightful position. Or you could just show up without guns. Just show up without guns. There'd be a ton of trust to be distributed around if you had that going on. Yeah, show up without those pieces. Or, I got it. Medaria, you fight Bob Kroll in the middle of George Floyd Square in an MMA match for charity. It would be the most that the MPD has done for the community since its inception. Speaking of Copaganda, a screenshot was sent to us here at Onsite Public Media saying, "Hey, this dude is the owner of Fire Roast Coffee and Wine," end quote, which is a business on the south side of Minneapolis. The alleged post from the owner of Fire Roast Coffee and Wine goes, "This area has always been high concentration of poverty and crime. Hopefully developers will reimagine it to better suit the current community needs and bring vibrancy along with a new police precinct to this part of Minneapolis. Hopefully the vibrant upscale new Target is a sign of things to come." Let me tell you something about the south side of Minneapolis, and more in particular, Longfellow neighborhood, where Fire Roast is or around. For somebody that has grown up there for the past 30-some years, Longfellow in the late 80s and the 90s, that was a place you could get stabbed and not tended to by an ambulance until sunup. Longfellow in the 90s was a place that you could go into a bar with no windows, anything could happen, and you may never return like Stranger Things. Longfellow in the 90s was a place where cops had their hand in crime in buildings that had no windows. Maybe you disappeared because the cops said so in the 90s. Longfellow today is relative to Park Slope in Brooklyn. It's a place where everybody walks their children and their dogs, and when people mention the property value, the initial reaction is, oh, okay. Longfellow today is probably one of the most absolutely affluent, gentrified neighborhoods over the past 20 to 30 years. So the hell are you talking about with poverty and crime concentration? Maybe for like residents in Kenwood, but not in Longfellow. It's actually quite nice. Take a walk. Go for a rollerblade or something. You'll be just fine. Fire roast coffee. Just gentrification for me. Fire roast coffee. Anything less than 6 digits, well, that's just poor. Fire roast coffee. Nothing says I care for my black neighbors like a new police precinct and a new target. Fire roast coffee. Bringing vibrancy to the community, one target at a time. Fire roast coffee. Profit over people. Property over people. Hey, just get those people out of here, especially those poor people. Fire roast coffee. Check out our new location in Kenwood. Fire roast coffee. We don't want your people. We just want your money. And we have breaking news that just came in recently. City Council member of Minneapolis, Alondra Cano, will no longer be taking extravagant European trips on tax dollars. She'll be paying for that out of her own pocket. In other words, that means Cano is not running for re-election next year. Quick update. So, City Council, here they are, like the Justice League, but they're not, announcing they'll defund the police, but they didn't. Cano then voted for $500,000 extra dollars. Here's a poster we made for her. And prior to that, Lisa Bender announced she wouldn't be running for City Council next year too, probably has a job with Biden. Here she is announcing retirement, looking off into a distant white future, ominous, aggressive. So now that these posters are here, they're kind of like a going away parting gift, right? And we have a new one for Lisa Bender, president of Minneapolis City Council. Roll it. That's right, the soon-to-be former Minneapolis City Council president had multiple opportunities to say Black Lives Matter when killer cops terrorized the community, especially in 2013, 2015, and 2016. However, she didn't make an appearance to really do anything until police brutality was caught on film, May 25, 2020. What was she doing up until then? Advocating for bike lanes. This 18 by 24 poster screen print can be yours, so you never forget the soon-to-be former Minneapolis City Council president caped for bikes, bikes, bikes. Because that's what really matters.
Depending on your income, property value of your house, if you own a house, melanin in your skin, and grasp on reality.
Ding dong, the president of City Council is soon to be gone. The future of elected officials is coming, and there's going to be a new city that will be reigning in 2021. Out with the old, in with the new. And just like that, Aisha Chugtai is running for City Council in Ward 10. Here she is on her new website. My name is Aisha Chugtai. I am a community organizer, a union activist, a first-generation immigrant, and a Muslim American. I'm running because Ward 10 needs a representative who will ensure the voices of those most impacted by decisions are prioritized in decision-making. I'm dedicated to fighting for equity and justice for Minneapolis residents. And to our knowledge, that is one of the first people of color that is running for City Council in Ward 10. If you'd like to correct us, which we're more than likely sure you will, you can put that in the comments below. And if you have any other people that are running for City Council, put those in the comments below. We are accruing a database that we'll put on our website of all the people running for City Council and for mayor in Minneapolis. Not St. Paul, because we just don't got the budget and time like that right now, y'all. So that'll do it for us. Wednesday, December 23rd. We're gonna see you tomorrow, 2 in a row. We love you. Thank you so much. And there's only 8 more of these left. Later, y'all.